Everyone envies life on a Greek island, quiet mornings, fresh air, close to nature. But what no one tells you is that when you are surrounded by so much beauty, it's actually easier to get distracted and harder to get work done. Because every minute spent in front of a screen feels like a minute that's slipping away. This week, on the island of Skyros, I started each day with a morning walk at the football field, which unfortunately wasn't as clean as I had expected. After that, I'd usually get a little time to work before the family woke up. Our breakfasts included cocoa and omelettes, while the house was full of kids. Every day I would find excuses to go for a walk, even in the middle of the day, and those walks made me happy. Some afternoons I tried to isolate myself upstairs to focus on work. But even the house itself needs care, like watering the garden, which I did in the evening, just before our daily walk with my wife. Maybe the problem isn't the island. Maybe the problem is that I just can't stay focused. I've always woken up early in the morning for the past 20 years. I look forward to sitting at my computer. But here on the island, I have one more reason. I don't want to miss the sunrise. No matter how many times I see the sun rising from the sea, I always discover something new. And it's not just the sunrise. That morning calm gives me strength for the day ahead. This connection to nature is just one step outside the front door. There's no reason to stay inside four walls when views like this are right outside. Lately, the weather was cool with a breeze. Perfect conditions for my morning walk. While the family was still asleep, I'd lose myself in thought for over an hour. Spring weather is ideal for walking, especially for me, since I hate the heat. The cold air and relatively low temperature help my mind work better. Like computers, they also perform better in low temperatures. In the past, I used to walk a long distance around the island. These days, I decided not to stray too far from the house. The football field is just a stone's throw from home. And at this time of day, it's completely empty, making it even more perfect. Being alone gave me the freedom to be a little more creative with the cameras. They recently renovated the field and installed new turf. I was curious if I would notice a difference. Unfortunately, what stood out right away was the trash left on the field, or some objects left behind from the renovation still lying around. For a newly renovated field, I didn't expect to already see damage to the team benches. It wasn't as cool as I expected, and I quickly decided to take off some layers. I planned to walk 8 kilometers unless I lost track of time because of nature, which honestly wouldn't be that hard. No matter how perfect the conditions are, our eyes always catch the bad stuff. At least nature is trying to reclaim what's hers. I believe these videos attract people who enjoy photography and cinematography. That's why I often show BTS shots of how I use my cameras. In the end, I didn't notice a big difference in the new turf, maybe just a bit softer. It's a real shame to see trash in something so new and useful. I honestly can't imagine how someone leaves things like that behind. Especially when there's so much natural beauty all around. Just like I imagined, my mind drifted off during this walk. I didn't really think much about work. So I'd head home without any fresh ideas before sitting at my desk. But I definitely took care of my health early on, both physical and mental. I had soaked in enough nature. Now it was time to sit in front of a screen, even if I didn't feel like it. The family was still asleep. I had to be as quiet as possible. My favorite place to sit at the computer is the couch. Even now, as I write the subtitles for this video, I'm sitting the same way. Early in the morning, I'd work on video editing, so I connected my external drives. I would trim the previous day's videos into smaller ones to start the next story. It's a relatively simple task that I've made easier by trimming using the keyboard. But I wouldn't get much trimming done since I heard the family slowly waking up. It was time to be a dad and prepare our breakfast. Let me know in the comments if you like when I include behind the scenes shots in the videos. While we were in Skyros, our favorite breakfast was different than in the city. For the past 3 years, I've been counting calories in everything I eat. It's a habit that became a lifestyle. Having already lost quite a bit of weight, calorie tracking now just helps me know how much I eat, so I don't go overboard and maintain control over my diet in general. Our omelette has 5 eggs, which is around 450 calories. The tomatoes, red pepper and onions total at most 150 calories. Our morning omelette equals about 700 calories if you count the oil. I usually eat 2/3 of the omelette, which is about 500 calories. But the priceless value of this breakfast is sharing it with the one who made it. On one of the many calm, identical mornings we spent on the Greek island together. Lately, I brought back my old habit of drinking cocoa in the morning. I never drank coffee in my life since I don't like it and don't see the point. I generally don't need a drink to start my day like I hear many people do. Cocoa is a healthy light drink to go with my breakfast, especially when I have company. I usually add just a little milk for a few extra calories, but we got quite a bit of milk and rather than let it expire, I drink a bit more. The kids fill the house with life, even though they make it hard to focus on my work. Sometimes, to isolate myself, I'll step out into the yard. Sometimes I take the laptop out to the veranda and work outside in the fresh air. But it's not always like that. Sometimes I sneak in a treat. Here in Skyros, I found some mustokoulura I can't resist. Life flows slowly here on the island, far from worries, as if time stands still. After such a long break, it was time to go get some bread for lunch. Running to the bakery was another excuse to walk in nature. The sun was already high. Still, I was really glad I had a chance to be outside. It was also a chance to burn off the caprice I ate in the last episode. No matter what life throws at me, a walk always lifts my mood. Pure joy. Genuine smile. I see closed homes along the road and want to tell their owners, you don't know what you are missing. The bakery is less than a kilometer away, less than a 10-minute walk. Since it was close to noon, I wasn't sure I'd find any bread at that hour. We got lucky in the end because our lunch needed bread to be edible. After spending most of the morning with the family, I wanted to get back to my laptop. Slow living is great, but we still need money for bread. Today I set up my office upstairs to isolate myself as much as possible. Isolation isn't just from people, it's also from nature itself. Even upstairs though, it's hard to stay focused when it's spring outside. Still, I try to sit down at the computer and get to work. Until recently, my job was managing websites. Basically, I build websites based on user demand and sell ad space on them. But in recent months, the internet, and especially how we rank on Google, changed a lot. I'm talking about SEO, search engine optimization. And of course, the reason for all this is artificial intelligence.
Μην ανησυχείς, σε όλα τα βίντεο μου ακούγεσαι.
While I was working, my daughter went off on her own to find her cousins. Life on the island has made her feel more independent without the fears of city life. Meanwhile, I wanted to check how my websites were ranking on Google. As web publishers, we use tools to monitor their position. That afternoon, I started with my personal website before checking the others. That part of the work used to be the most important. Before writing any article, I'd first check what people are actually searching for. If there's no demand for a keyword, there's no point writing about it. But things have changed lately. Now Google has integrated AI into the results, answering users' questions without needing to click through to a site. That was our biggest fear, the zero-click internet. People no longer need to visit websites to find what they're looking for. AI agents and chatbots will give them the answers they gather from the pages. That obviously has a huge impact on professionals like us, since if visitors don't come to our websites, advertisers won't come to pay us. So now what I mostly do is damage control. I look at which pages have retained their ranking on Google, and from those, try to understand what still has demand that AI doesn't cover. Of course, my personal blog never had ads, but since my other websites took a big hit from AI, I'm focusing more on my personal brand. But my time would soon run out as my daughter would be back and I had to deal with home tasks. I rarely water in the afternoon. I prefer early mornings in the garden. Now in spring, trees don't need much watering, and I mostly follow my father-in-law's guidelines. I generally know nothing about gardening and never had any interest in plants. All the hoses are already set up. I just have to water the trees I'm told to, like the lemon trees now, so they'll grow bigger lemons. Also, my father-in-law recently planted some new trees that need watering. Even if I don't enjoy watering, it's another excuse to get out of the house. Watering these plants takes about 10 minutes, and that's just half of what needs care. The other half I water in the morning, before the sun gets strong. The sun was slowly setting behind the mountain, signaling our evening walk time. Our daughter wasn't home, so we set off carefree for a walk like we used to.
Τίποτα.
Ήρθα για να κάτω σπίτι, όχι για να περπατάω.
Γιατί τι θα πάθεις? Πάμε μια βολτούλα, πάμε
Όχι,
τρεις
τόση ώρα
μας.
περπατούσα. Για μένα βόλτα ήταν αυτό.
Ναι, αλλά εμείς δεν κάναμε, πάμε παρέα τώρα.
Όχι.
She prefers sitting on her tablet rather than being with us. I don't find it strange. At her age, I also spend hours on the computer. I didn't understand why my parents were obsessed with nature either. I was sure she'd have more fun alone than listening to our conversations. Even I had doubts about whether I should take that walk, or if I should have stayed to work on my websites and YouTube videos. At least I had the cameras with me, so I convinced myself I was technically working. I think I'm not the only one trying to balance work and family. But here on the island, we have the chance to be together more peacefully than ever. And even better now in spring, stopping every 5 minutes to admire flowers. Just a few of the many distractions this place offers this time of year. In the end, I didn't find a solution, but this week I did manage one small thing: to accept that I'll never be 100% productive here. And maybe that's okay. Maybe the messiness, the distractions, the lack of focus, it's the price I pay for all this beauty around me. And if I lose a few minutes of work to live a little more life, well, maybe that's worth it.